Hey everybody, this is 5 Minutes of Horror with Iconic Horror. And today we're going to be talking about how to get your kids into the love of horror movies that you have. So I'm going to do a little disclaimer first to start this off. First thing you need to know is you need to know your own children. You're the adults, you're the parents. I'm not trying to tell you when, what time, how old, all that kind of stuff. That's up to you to decide. This is more of a guideline on where to go with it, and maybe to give you a little bit of a pointer on how to see in your own kids when it might be time to show them your love of horror. So to start, I'm going to go with one rule, and it's a pretty simple rule. Pay attention to your kids. Make sure that you watch them. Make sure that you see how they're reacting to what you're showing them, and try not to advance them too quickly in the horror genre. That's the basic rule. Just do that. First thing I would try to do is make sure that to instill in your children that movies and TV is fake. It's not real. This goes beyond just normal horror genre. This can go to any other genre. When I was growing up, the big thing was Ninja Turtles. Now, when the Ninja Turtles came out, there was a lot of kids that went looking into the sewers trying to find them. Clearly, those kids did not have the grasp and the concept that it was fake. So that is the first thing you need to instill. I try to instill that super young, to be honest with you. I want them to know that this is not reality. Pigs can't talk, so that's not how the real world works. So don't think of this stuff as real. There's nothing to be afraid of. It is fake. Even stuff that is based on true stories is not really the true story at all for the most part. So that being said, what I would do, I would recommend Toy Story. I know it sounds weird because it's not a horror film, but this is a great film to get kind of a baseline to find out where your kid is and whether they're ready for moving on. Now, it's a particular scene that you got to watch for when you get to Sid's house. There's a bunch of horror elements in that could be terrifying to some children. This is where I would watch. You watch Toy Story, enjoy the family movie. When it gets to this point, when you get to Sid's house, watch your kids and how they react. If they start crying because of the weird, creepy toy monster thingies coming out from underneath the bed and stuff like that, clearly they're not ready for the next level. You need to wait until it's time. Or, talk it through with your children. Try to learn, see if they can understand what you're coming from, and maybe they can progress. Now, obviously, the next step after that, if your child is ready and you think that your child is ready, you want to move on to some horror-themed animated features. Things like Nightmare Before Christmas is a great one, all the way up to what I would think is probably the end game for the cartoons, and that would be Monsters House. As a horror film meant for children, it's a very good film to gauge from there. That is how I would. I mean, you want to watch horror films, you want to have your kids enjoy them, and most of these you probably enjoy anyways. I know I love I know that I love Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a great film. That is a great. I broke my clip. That is a great little horror film to try out with your kids. Moving on from that, then you start putting in a little bit more live action stuff. Ones that I would recommend would be things like Ernest Scared Stupid, which, be prepared, because that movie terrified me as a kid. That terrified me more than any of the horror films that I've grown to love and watch. And I started watching it at a relatively early age. But that film had a very big impact on me. I don't know why. That was the one for me. But it also instilled my love for horror because I loved that feeling of being scared. And that's where I went from there. After that, then you can start moving them on into your more PG-13 to R-rated horror films. Once again, you're the adult. You need to know whether your child is ready for cursing or the sexualization stuff. That is up to you. I'm not trying to say when you should do that or when you shouldn't. And not every kid is the same. It is different for everybody. So that's a basic run through on this. I think that's a fairly easy guide. I want, hopefully you can get your children to love the genre and they can be a part of the community of horror fans and get the love and enjoyment from it that you have. I know that with my own child, I definitely got him a little bit too far advanced than he was ready for, but that was my own fault. I didn't follow my own rules. I did instill pretty early on that movies and TV is fake, but definitely jumped in genre a little too deep. But yeah, I think that's a fair estimate, and I think this should help you guide your child along. I'll try to add a list down below of some great animated features that are good, and some more of the kid-friendly live action stuff. Check it out, see what you think. If you agree with me, cool. If you don't, that's all right too. Let me know what you think on whether you should get children involved in horror early, or or if you want them to go a little bit later. All that kind of stuff. Please like, share, subscribe, do all those wonderful things you do. Follow everybody else on the 5 Minute channel. And in the meantime, watch more horror.